And welcome back to Newsmax Now. I'm Miranda Khan. The USDA gives the okay for U.S. chickens to be sent to China for processing, then sent back to the States for people like you and me to eat. According to an article in Complete Health and Happiness, U.S. inspectors will not be on site at Chinese processing plants, and the chicken isn't required to have country of origin labels. Experts are concerned because China has problems with the bird flu and food right now. Oklahoma residents are waking up to what's left after tornadoes just shredded through the southwest part of the region. You can see some of the devastation right here. The twisters just ripped off roofs, leaving many homes completely destroyed. Officials say it could take weeks just to assess the damage. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a six-time NBA champion, says the riots in Baltimore stem from a deeper frustration with police. The Basketball Hall of Famer compared the unrest in Baltimore to the Boston Tea Party. In Canada, a former Gitmo inmate named Omar Khadr, who killed a U.S. soldier, will soon be out on bail. Today, a judge refused a last-ditch plea from Canada to keep him locked up. Khadr will not get to continue to appeal his U.S. war crimes conviction with more freedom. And in Japan, zoo officials apologize for naming a baby monkey Charlotte after the newborn princess in England. That's according to the Los Angeles Times. Critics say the zoo was being disrespectful to the British family, but the name was actually a favorite among public voters.
All right, let's move on from the zoo to 2016. Maybe not a lot of difference there. We'll take a look at the candidates, specifically one named Jeb Bush.
Hola, Jeb Bush. Mi esposa Columba nació en México. Mi familia tiene fuertes lazos con México y yo tengo un gran respeto y cariño por nuestros vecinos.
All right, there you go. Jeb Bush posting a video on Twitter yesterday in celebration of Cinco de Mayo. You may have also noticed it was in Spanish. And joining us now to take a look at what's going on behind the scenes of Jeb's yet-to-be campaign in terms of Hispanic outreach is Raul Mas, political and economic analyst. Raul, great to have you with us here today.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure being here. Jeb Bush and his PAC is hiring a longtime Marco Rubio friend and aide, Jose Mayella, for Hispanic outreach. So what's going on here?
Listen, I think the campaign's getting underway. And I think, quite frankly, as I've mentioned before, this debate on immigration is one that we have to have in this country, and also the outreach to the Hispanic community. I mean, obviously, didn't go so well for us Republicans last time around, and I think this time around we need to find a way to engage with the Hispanic population, particularly young Hispanics, and I think that's exactly what Jeb Bush is trying to do, both with hiring this campaign manager and also what you saw in that video, celebrating the Cinco de Mayo, and actually showing a lot of cultural sensitivity because, we think of Cinco de Mayo over here in this country as being sort of, just a celebration where we go and we put on funny hats and we drink tequila and whatnot.
Yeah, brought to you by
but
Corona.
It's, very important holiday, commemorates a very important battle in Mexico's independence. And he made mention of that. So, he's on the right track towards gathering attention from the Hispanic community.
All right, so a little bit more inside baseball for folks. What's going on down in South Florida in terms of who's going to back Jeb and who might back Rubio? That article we showed on the screen from Politico, let's bring that back up. Quote, two of Miami's three Cuban-American Republican House members, Mario Diaz-Balart, Eliana Ross-Lehtinen, they're backing Bush. A third conservative, a representative of the group, Carlos Curbelo, not really a conservative, but a Republican, is expected to endorse Bush after he officially announces his campaign. Now, does any of this really matter considering that the Hispanic community in this country has a varied background?
You know what I mean? Honestly, I think you're absolutely right on, John. I mean, the Cuban-American vote as a part of the overall Hispanic population is relatively small. I mean, we are the sort of conservatives under the Hispanic tent, if you will. We came here primarily for political reasons, not economic reasons. We tend to vote more conservatively than, say, our Mexican or Puerto Rican counterparts. So in the grand scheme of things, the Cuban-American vote, quite frankly, as much as I would like to say that it's going to count a great deal, is a relatively small component of the overall Hispanic vote. But obviously, the state of Florida is a very contentious state.
Right.
And in that respect, the opinion of the Cuban Americans in South Florida do matter, and they matter a great deal.
Very difficult for any Republican to win the state, considering what takes place south of the I-4 corridor. Now, Raul, I want to ask your opinion because Jeb Bush's poll numbers not doing so well right now in a number of different polls out there. But do you think he's going to have the last laugh considering the strategy he is employing here?
Look, I don't know. I mean, I think everybody sort of understood that he wasn't going to be a barn burner in Iowa and perhaps some of the early states. But obviously, this is going to be a long campaign. He is not going to have the support, quite frankly, of some of the more conservative elements of the Republican Party, who view him as highly suspect on things like education.
But Raul, he doesn't seem too concerned about that fact, and we'll talk a little bit more about the race coming up. But I also want to ask you to stick around, Raul, because we're going to talk about who could possibly replace Marco Rubio. He's leaving the U.S. Senate to run for president, and you might be surprised, not a lot of folks jumping into the race as quickly as we would have thought. We'll talk about that. Raul will be back with us. Miranda joins us again for our roundtable coming up.